We get so much negativity on corporate media and social media and everything else. I think it's very important that we remind everyone this is still the greatest country in the history of our species. So I wanted to give you some positivity today. And I agree 100% with what Gene Simmons has to say. So listen in.
Personally, I've never had a bad thing happen to me. I haven't had a bad day in my life, not since I came to the Promised Land. And let me tell you something, everybody points to Israel, and yes, I'm proud I'm being there, but the Promised Land is America. In America, Protestants and Catholics live next door to each other. In Ireland, not so good. In the Middle East, Israelis and Arabs don't get along with each other. Over here, everything's fine. The gift that America has given the world is a sort of I can't put it into words. There's a magic here that exists nowhere else in the world. I'm embarrassingly patriotic about this country. I would, see, it's starting to happen. Before we came to America, my mother and I stood in front of the American consulate. My mother was very beautiful, so he put her at the beginning of the line. I saw him, and so we went to the front of the line, and I was a little boy. I didn't know what was going on. And he's trying to tell her that she's been accepted to come to America. But my mother couldn't speak English, so he says, do you speak, she couldn't speak English. And they're trying to connect. So they settled on, kannst du sprechen Deutsch? Ja, ich kann sprechen Deutsch. Ich habe gelernt auf der Schule. I speak some German. You had to, especially in the camps. So in broken German, he says to her, welcome, you have been accepted to the United States of America. I didn't know what America was. I'd never heard of it or anything. And he says, okay, before you come in, you have to raise your hand and swear allegiance to America. And my mother didn't know what to do, so she went like this. And, sorry. So I saw that night, I didn't know what was going on, and my mother was rigid like that. She just wanted to come to America. I saw him coming. He got off his riser, and he came up to her, and he put her hand down, and he said, you're never going to have to do that ever again. And I didn't understand what that was. But the magic and the blessing that is America is that, yes, even if you're the sons and daughters of Nazis, you can come here and nobody will try to kill you, and you can have all the rights and freedoms that native-born children in America have. This is the promised land.
I'd ask you, what is the worst thing that happened to you in your life? So what's the best thing that's happened to you in your life?
Well, the best thing that ever happened to me was coming to America. I mean that honestly, unapologetically. Once I landed in America with my mother, it was like through the rabbit hole, Alice in Wonderland kind of thing. I never saw anything so big. The people were big, the cars were big, the sandwiches were enormous. People had refrigerators full of their own food. You didn't have to go to a store to pour a can of soda. I remember as an 8.5, 9-year-old boy going to the first supermarket across from my Aunt Magda's house, and I walk in, and it's like city streets with people going down one street and up the other and stuff, carrying tons of food, and the food was stacked up higher than the people were taught. I just couldn't fathom it. It was just, America, the land of plenty. I'd never seen, and to this day, I just can't believe how much it's Wonderland.
Wow, I mean, gave me the chills listening to that story. Now, that is why I understand why everyone wants to come here. But you have to understand there's evil at play. There are people, small group of people throughout this world that want to have this kind of global community, and they need to have this little idea of America fail. And that's why they continue to funnel all of this division, because they want us to fight amongst each other. They want us to fight each other constantly. And that's what we're seeing corporate media push out, social media, everything else. You have to remember, we have to clean up our house now. We have let a lot of what I feel bad people in illegally. We've had this open door policy, this open border policy underneath the Biden administration, especially, just allowed all of these illegals to come in. And all of them, are they bad? Of course not. No, but there are some. I want this idea of America to live on for our future generations. So all of our aspirations can take root, legacies to grow, but most importantly, all of ours, all of our families grow for generations to come. But if we don't clean up our own house right now, and we don't get the right leadership in place and kind of quiet the noise and get back to the basics, and that basics to me is shutting down that border, allowing only people to come here legally to get vetted, clean out the country through all these illegals and send them out. Sorry, if you want to come back in, you come back here the right way. We have to do that now. And if we don't, you're going to see more riots, more protests, illegal protests, because they're going to start burning buildings again. And you're going to see this Marxist leftist agenda that will continue to try to rip us apart. But we are still majority here. The good people, we're still the majority. But if we continue to allow the bad in, we're no longer going to be the majority. We're going to be the minority, and it's going to be a different ballgame. So I wanted to allow you guys all to feel his passion, his experience, and his love for this country. It's the same love that a lot of us feel. But we have to start doing the right things now, because we have neglected our country for years and allowed a lot of evil people, bad people, to get in places of authority, to hammer down policy and everything else that they're doing. And so it's going to take probably a couple decades of you and I standing up and pushing back against this. That's our fight. This is going to be our generation's World War II. This is our Normandy. And we are fighting for our very lives and our freedom. But more importantly, our children, our grandchildren, and our future generations' freedom. So don't sit on the sidelines. Get involved any way that you can. God bless you. God bless the state of Michigan, of course, and always, God bless these United States.